It goes without saying. And what I'm going to tell you is very common sense. You're going to actually believe I'm stupid for just telling you this twice, but don't work for free. Now, you may already know that. And of course, I mean, why else do we work and, book 9 to 5 jobs? To get paid, right? Absolutely. But I'm telling you this because I was exploited, in short, at my sales job. And that may be the title of the video, but I really was exploited. We're going to get straight to the point. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I wasn't paid. I was working there for 3 weeks, and yes, despite me not making the most sales, it was the mere fact that they didn't even pay me. Also, when I applied for my sales job that I applied to, this was during mid-October to about early November. I worked at a sales job for a period of 3 weeks. The first 2 weeks, it was primarily me on the streets, basically harassing people to buy a product they don't even want, trying to convince them to want to purchase the product. Second, the next week, either the company decided to shift and head on to knocking onto doors, right? And so, in short, from my experience, and yes, I guess you could say from a pro standpoint, it definitely gets you out of your comfort zone, especially me being an introvert and everything. He prefers to, be in his own place, isolation. I always knew I could talk to people, but just being tested in that environment when there's lots of people, I would go as far as to say I thrived, in terms of, out of everyone in my group, I brought the most people to the table to actually pitch people. But even then, I still felt exploited. Why did I feel exploited? Well, I felt exploited because the majority of the time when I'd bring people to the table, when it was my turn to pitch the person to sell a product, these motherfuckers on my team would always come butt in and almost try to steal my sales, especially in the door-to-door sale. Especially. I remember, man, it was me and my team leader, we were taking turns, right? And every 2 knocks for him, it would be my turn. And then I would knock, bearing in mind, taking into account, I also felt like I wasn't fully trained properly. I was only trained on the pitch section, but then the part with the iPad where you actually meant to do the transaction, I was never trained for that part. And it would get to a point where sometimes I'd even go solo and just knock on the door. I'd do the talking part really well, but then I wouldn't know how to do the whole iPad process because I was never taught that. I was never educated on how to do so. Both for the event sales, so when you're in the public eye harassing people in the streets, cold approaching, and in the door sense. So, and then the team leader still disappointed, saying, oh, why are you not making any sales? Motherfucker, you never taught me how to do the iPad process when I kept telling you about it the first few weeks. So I felt even exploited then. And what pisses me off the most, it was the fact that it wasn't just me going through this. I checked the website. Turns out many other people, young people in particular, were going through the same suffering that I did. Now, I was exploited in many ways, not just, what I just told you, but it was the mere fact that they also lied to me about the amount of pay I'll be getting. I remember when I first stepped through the door, so this was like more so an induction period where there was a few employees sitting down and then you had the team leader, which is a fucking scumbag, by the way. Fuck you if you're watching this video. I really hope you are, but you're probably not, unfortunately. But he promised everyone there we would be paid a guaranteed 500 quid on the 3rd week. And yes, it was a commission only job, but he still promised we would get paid 500 also, which never came. And during the end of those 3 weeks, with the sales that I did make, plus with the promised 500 that he promised us all to make and give us, give us, I emailed him on WhatsApp, constantly emailed this bitch. He never replied. Now, he read my message. He read it. I clicked on his name. It said read. Called him as well. He didn't give a fuck. So essentially, I was working for free. And by the way, I was already saving money because when I applied for this job, I was broke. Naturally, hence why you get a job, right? So I had £110 in my bank account. Thank God I meal prepped. Holy fuck. Thank God I meal prepped. Because I was spending money to get to point A, point B, point B. We would be sent to the outskirts of London. And usually, the further you travel, naturally, the more money you spend, right? So I was just beeping my card repeatedly. And I was there in my head thinking, bitch, how much money do you think I fucking have? I'm 18. Well, I was 18 at the time. just beeping your card. Beep, 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 beep. And what was funny is even the top salesman in my company, but the job I was working at the time, they were struggling in terms of the public transport. So there'd be times I'd be walking in front. Two of the salesmen, they'd go behind my back just so I could pay, so they could save money for public transport. That already speaks numbers. Already speaks numbers in terms of how crazy that is. Bizarre. And I know it was 4 months ago. Like, I left the job in November, early November, but it's just something that's been weighing on my chest, and I kind of had to make a rant. This is more so a rant video, and I guess you could take out of this, don't work for free, which is, you know, common sense, but from what I experienced, it bears repeating. And also, I would say, when you apply for a 9-to-5 job, please read the reviews. This is something I wish I told myself 5 months ago when I was applying for that sales job. I wasn't aware of the repercussions, the punishment, and how everyone else was cruelly treated. It's primarily young people. Now, when I did go to my sales job, it was a mixture of the elderly, well, I wouldn't necessarily say elderly people, but people who looked a lot older and young people. And I almost felt robbed, because I was robbed 3 weeks of my time. 3 weeks. Guys, imagine, you're out in the field, you're 18 years old, you just graduated college, you want to get a job, you want to make some money, right? You see a job, oh, high commission. All right, let me join the job. Gonna get some money, right? All right, so you're out in the field now. And I have this mindset of, when I'm in the job, even if I don't like it, I will work my ass off. And that's what I did. I was working my ass off constantly. Even though my workers were like, Golden, this guy works, man. This guy's a hustler. Constantly pursue people. Right? At the end of the day, I'd speak to so many people, I would get lightheaded. Now that comes with the job, I knew that. Of course, it's a sales job, it's people orientated, yeah. Of course, I knew what was coming. So I'd walk home, I'd feel absolutely shattered, lightheaded from just talking all day for 8 hours, right? And then it'd even get to the point I'd be walking home. Trust me guys, when you're walking for 8 hours, constantly, you know, coming to people, walking up to people, I'm telling you, when you walk home, your legs will be shattered. Like, it'd be times like, I'd walk home, the heels of my feet would hurt so much, I'd have to sit down to take a break. This isn't me complaining, this comes with the territory of the job. I'm more so stating this because I'm pissed off, because I know the sacrifice I had to put to go into the job. And I'm sure you can relate, we go to 9-to-5 jobs, right? We're not happy to be there, for the most part. None of us, let's be honest, you don't want to be there, you're exchanging time for fucking money. And I know what it's like. You wake up, you're depressed, but you have to try find something in your spirit to try lift you up. That was me when I was eating my breakfast. My flipping jam toast white bread breakfast with my tea. I was eating that, depressed as fuck. No one gave a fuck. So I had to just try lift my spirit up. Try put on a facade like I'm happy. And yes, I guess you could say it works in, you know, some way, shape or form. The law of attraction, you know, kind of trick your brain into being happy. And it just pisses me off because I went through that for 3 fucking weeks and I never got paid. It's been 4 months now. Not paid a dime. I was basically working for free. A fucking slave. I helped someone else's business grow. And I received nothing in return. I helped the bastard make more money. Through selling items. And what did I gain? Yeah, I guess you could say experience, but we work for fucking money. I never got fucking paid. Of course I'm angry. I have every right to be angry. How can I not be angry? I'm pissed off. And that job, it taught me a harsh reality of the world. No one gives a fuck about you. I'm telling no one. Why do you think people in my sales team, when I was selling, whenever I do my turn to talk, the team leader would butt in and get the sale that should have been mine. But he would butt in and take my sale. Same with everyone else on the team. Everyone else. And that company, there were some people who were actually brave enough to speak up. And I read the reviews a few days ago. Some people, they were experiencing the same thing that I did. Now, unfortunately, I never spoke up at the time in person, which I wish I did. But to the people who did speak up, the manager would silently kick them out. They wouldn't make it public, but they would silently kick them out. How do I know this? Well, I saw the reviews. So many young people weren't paid. Heck, some adults were there also, who had kids, fucking kids. They weren't paid for the sales they made. So now they couldn't pay their bills. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. I don't know how that team manager is able to sleep at night, knowing that he robs people, particularly the youth, every single day. They're well aware. He's well aware that, you know, when you're young, you're full of all this power, energy, and they took advantage of that. This pyramid scheme to profit their own fucking business. They said we have to wait for the 3rd week to get paid. And I see that as like a trap to lure people in to just keep going. Because I'm pretty sure it's weekly pay, right? Usually you pay someone weekly. Right? They made me wait for the 3rd week. Okay, so during that period, I was just, you know, getting my mum. Because naturally, when you're 18 years old, I was 18 at the time, I'm 19 now. You're broke, right? So my mum was topping up for me. God bless her, so I love you so much, mum. I know she doesn't watch my videos, but I really did appreciate it for that. Because if it wasn't for her topping up, giving me the money to top up to even travel to these places, I would have been bankrupt. Just spending to keep going. And when I started off that job, I had £110 in my bank account. There was this period, this may have been during the 2nd week of working there. My mum gave me 20 quid, and that was supposed to last me for a week. When I went to the job that day, the entire 20 quid abolished for one travel. Remember, we were sent to the outskirts of London, the far areas, nearly at the proper back of London. So I'm talking those expensive trains that cost money. And collectively during the week, wiped out the top up money that was meant to last me a week that my mum gave me. And I didn't want to keep asking mum for more money. And in fact, I never did. My mum kind of instinctively knew to give me money because obviously I wasn't making money at the time. And from what they promised me that I would make money in the 3rd week, I told my mum that also. And we agreed, naturally, that she wouldn't give me money anymore when I start getting paid. Which is good as a man to know. It did hurt my ego to receive money. It really did hurt my ego. I don't like asking people for money, especially my mum. Because I'm a man and I don't need to go out and I make my own money. I'm a hustler, man. I do what needs to be done. I work hard. Flipping, scheduling it on your schedule. Waking up at 5 a.m. Getting a quick workout in. Which is even feel fulfilling because it was like 10 minutes. But, you know, for the money, you got to put the money first, right? And I had the mindset. I had the work hard mindset. Bearing in mind, this was my 3rd to 4th job. I had 2 other jobs, which was prior to that. The year before, this is 2024. This was mandatory for like college work experience, right? So you kind of had to work there for free. And I worked there and paid also. And when I remember I got my first year on my 3rd job, which was my sales job, the first time I actually thought I'd get paid, I never got paid. I remember there was this one time. I was in this place called Islington for the people in London. That's where I was selling. And that's where the job is situated, right? So I was selling there. But there was a preacher. It was on a Tuesday. He was preaching. He was preaching so loud. God bless his soul. Amen. But it was disrupting our sales, right? And so we decided to take the train because one of the people, my sales team, called another guy, which was my team leader, to go to another place, which was in around central London, right? He took the train because it was the quicker way. Now he was getting paid, so it made sense for him to go. I wasn't getting paid. But they wanted us to be there quickly, right? So I felt like I had no choice to take the train, which I didn't. No, I did have a choice. I should have took the bus. And then I remember the guy looked at me and was like, you can pay it, right? In my head, I'm like, fuck, I didn't even get paid yet. How much money do you think I have? I'm not a millionaire. I can't pay for this shit. In fact, I've actually lost more money than I made money working this entire job. But I still went and took the train. Cost like £6 collectively in a day. Never got paid at the end. All that sacrifice I put myself through. I should have left them the first week, really. because I never got paid for my sales, let alone the promised 500. So I was pissed, and rightfully so. Rightfully fucking so. Pissed. And I just got that realization at the end. I was like, when I left my job, I was like, nothing changed. I worked hard. I did what I'm supposed to do. I done everything in my power to physically do my best to try in the pursuit to make money. Because bearing in mind, prior to that, I was applying jobs since I was like 16. I shit you not, guys. I'm not bullshitting you when I tell you I probably applied well over 500 jobs. The majority of the time I was rejected. The majority. Prior to the sales job that I did work at, I applied to another one. They got me in. It was like an induction, right? So they made you sit on this big table. They made me wait an extra 3 hours just to tell me, yeah, we want you for the role, because there's a lot of people, right? So they had to disqualify a few. They got me in, which is good, right? Then they made me do this computer work, which lasted me like 9 hours collectively. It was pretty much the same similar door-to-door sales job, right? However, it was more so them, like, I would go on the website, they would teach you how to do stuff and whatnot. I'd do that for 9 hours. They never called back. So that was 9 hours of my day wasted. Then the next job was the job I just told you about. And I was like, thank God I actually got a job for once, because applying for a job is fucking hard. I don't know if you guys know already. Especially when you're starting out, when you're young, you're 18. No one takes you seriously. And it was entry level. So I thought, hallelujah, I got a job. Because most jobs are like, you need experience. So I applied for this one, which was the sales job I got. Working my ass off. Honestly, the event sales, I actually enjoyed it, I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed talking to a wide range of people. The door-to-door sales I hated. Either way, talking about those two collectively, I never got paid, so I was like, what did I do that for? What was me waking up fucking depressed, trying to raise my spirit up, praying all the time for? When I never even got paid. Am I telling you to abandon God? No. But it's just like, the sheer effort I put in. It was me breaking my hands. Not hands, me breaking my legs walking home. Flipping stumbling because I walked and worked so hard. It was me saving money meal prepping. Because I didn't even have the money and I was broke like that. And I actually prefer meal prepping, but it was me doing my best to actually spend the least money possible to travel, because I wasn't getting paid yet and I thought I'd get paid and never got paid. It fucking hurt. I was crushed. Fucking crushed. And I left that job, I felt like shit, nothing changed. I told you in the beginning of this video, when I started that job, I had £110. When I finished that job, I was left with £50 of a bank account. 50. So imagine I worked for another week or two. I would have been bankrupt. I would have been on -0. That's why I left. I had no other choice, I had to leave. That was 4 months ago now. It's still hard to get a job. I'm telling you guys for the future. For my story, so you guys can look back at this video when I'm successful. To realize I struggled too. And I'm struggling right now. Life is just slapping me in the face, man. It's annoying as fuck. You know you're ambitious, you know what you want in life. Life's just saying nope. Nope. Honestly, at this point, even if it's a shit job, I'd still be happy. Even if the pay is low, I'd still be happy. Because at least I'm getting paid. Rather than pulling up for free. Getting nothing in return. Ridiculous. I'm pissed. I am pissed. It's been weighing on my heart for the past 4 months now. And I thought I didn't want to make this video, but I just felt like I had to run. You know? I had to get I got to get this out there. And what I'm gonna say may sound evil, but it's true. This is what comes from my heart. It does make me happy that I'm not the only one that suffered like this, to know that I'm not alone. Because I know I'm a hard guy, I'm a hard-working guy. And I'm doing everything I can to boost my financial situation. Because like I told you in my previous videos, my video when I was like, oh, being broke's for my only insecurity. I'm in shape, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm ripped. 86 kg, 5'9", ripped. Solid relationship with my family, solid relationship with the 4 friends that I do have. Shout out to you lot. It's just the financial part now, which has taken a very long time to put together. Life has been a bitch to me right now. It's fuck. And the biggest realization, I'm gonna end it by saying this because I've 3 other videos I wanna make. Life don't give a fuck. My manager, when I didn't get paid, he didn't give a fuck. When he saw my message for me asking my money, he didn't give a fuck. He took your time, your soul, and your energy. I was basically his bitch. As much as it hurts my ego, I was basically his bitch without realizing. I helped grow this bitch's company and I got nothing in return. The fuck? I'm pissed. I just wanted to let you know my experience. It's been weighing on my chest for a while, so I just wanted to rant, let this out. I do feel a lot better now that I just let this out because man, shit. Pulling up for 3 weeks, you're not getting paid? Huh? That should be illegal. They wanted to mark it as self-employed. But they gave us this paper. They even gave us, when induction day, they gave us this like sheet to put your credit card information, your debit or credit card information so they could pay you. Part of me is thinking, yeah, okay, I never got the most sales to help your company grow. You still have to pay me. I still put effort and time for your company. Did you just pay the people who are making a lot of sales? Because that's not cool. You need to pay everyone. We've all contributed. Disgusting. Guys, don't work for free. You're a person who needs to live. Okay? You're not a slave. You're a fucking human being. You need to live. You need money. Money is important. So when you apply for your next job, I'm speaking to you, Golden, and I'm speaking to the other people watching who may somewhat relate or just stumbled across of this video. Please, make sure you're getting paid. This is not a joke. I've worked 4 jobs for free. 2, okay, it kind of wasn't my fault because I was college, kind of had to work. The other 2 jobs, you worked for free for 3 weeks? Come on, man. Don't work for free. Come on. Grind. And make sure you're on the right boat also. But when you're starting out, you can't really, but just make sure you're getting paid, okay? Fuck.